And if your get out of jail free card is always backups, well, they're trying to kick those feet out from underneath you, so you have to pay, or at least that's the only option that you have presented. Hey everybody, welcome back to cisolife. Brian Hoagley here. Hope everybody's doing well. Great chat with Jason Christopher from Dragos. And one of the things I thought I wanted to kind of pull back and get out a little sooner than having that webinar published next week is discussion that we had around the impact of ransomware on organizations, specifically OT. But the conversation that we had that I really kind of keyed in on was the impact of backups and the importance of backups in your IT cybersecurity posture, right? So you'll see that obviously within the NIST cybersecurity framework, right, that recovery is the last component, feeds into your identification. Within IT, a lot of times within small, mid-sized businesses, manufacturers, the IT environment, the OT environment might be the same. And that's okay. I mean, ideally, you want to have some level of separation maybe between where your OT environment is and it's segmented a little bit off. But either way, you look at it, you're going to have systems that are existing in all, maybe you have some here, then they're attached to, PLCs and the like. All of these things are going to need backups, or should, right? At least your crown jewels. What are the most important components of this environment? Is it that system? Is it a couple systems? Whatever it is. From a backup perspective, I know this is basic. I know we've been talking about and doing this stuff for years, but for some reason we have to come back to this because ransomware affects availability. And within the CIA triad that is security, availability exists, and it is a cyber concern. So looking back at our traditional IT, functions of backups and restoration, key components that we discussed today that we found shocking in discussions and from the audience, and I think from the poll questions that we had. Are you performing backups? Number one, do you have backups in place? Question one. Question two, are those backups tested? I would jump to this over question three, which is, are they off-site or are they located someplace else? Are you able to address these three things? Okay, encryption of your backups comes into this, right? And if you look at the CIS top 20, these are the components that are being asked in that question, right? In that security control. But let's focus on these first three because encryption sometimes gets a little difficult. People are a little scared of it, right? And honestly, if you're doing this and not the others, you're probably going to have a little bit of a harder problem to solve when you have to go to restoration. So one, if you aren't doing backups, why not? Please. Why aren't you doing backups? Two, have you tested the backups? It's great that you're doing them, right? And today on the webinar that we did, Jason rightfully pointed out, it's so your backups are from 1992. And that was the last time you had a known good configuration because OT environments don't change a lot. But have you tested them? Did you know that if you've changed anything on the floor to impact what those backups are going to actually restore to your restore point? Within IT, it's the same thing. Within business, it's the same thing. Can you test, or are you just blindly relying on the fact that you have backups? Oh, our financial system is, completely backed up. We're good. Yeah. Well, if you've never tested it to probably try to do a restoration and then see if you can actually function, when you actually have to do this, if it's ransomware or some other availability impact, when you actually have to restore, how confident are you in the integrity of those backups and the ability to bring you back to the point that you hope you're going to? Or is this going to slip from 24 hours of lost data to 2 weeks, to 2 months, to 2 years until you finally find a backup that is restorable? Not something you want to have to find out when you're in the moment. The last one, and this specifically with ransomware, offsite or offloaded or off network, whatever you want to call it, are you removing your backup capabilities and your restoration capabilities from your live production network? We're seeing, and I mean, I think it's the last couple of weeks, and there's a lot more discussion going on about motivated attackers, and that doesn't always impact everybody, but an attacker who finds a foothold, they're starting to go after backup systems. Why? Because when ransomware impacts your network or your environment, they want to hold you hostage. And if your get out of jail free card is always backups, well, they're trying to kick those feet out from underneath you, so you have to pay, or at least that's the only option that you have presented to you to be able to restore. So having these things off site so they can't be impacted when the rest of your network, is being impacted, and coming up with a solution. Now, some people are like, well, I'm too small, or, it's too hard. Well, that's why it's called work. Can you create some type of analog capability? Can you do some type of data shoveling? Can you use a cloud solution and make sure that, there is no consistently integrated, connection between you and that cloud provider? Whatever it is, I don't know. But there are a lot of options to be able to make this backup capability separate from your organization, significantly reduce the risk. So again, folks, look, are you doing backups? Have you tested them? Are they going off site? Then we can talk about encryption, but let's relook at what we've been doing for all along, and now let's apply these practices to a common and current threat. I'm Brian Hoagley with cisolife. Thanks for watching. As always, check us out on YouTube. Subscribe right up here. You can follow us down on LinkedIn, me on Twitter. Catch SideChannel for any of the experts' opinions on things like this. Feel free to reach out anytime. We're here to work for you. And I'll see you next time. Glad to be back in the studio. All right, everybody take care. Bye.